Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to discuss which SOA technology works well with Adobe Marketing Cloud. This is Ali Naseem from eFlux, and welcome to the show. Let me first of all give you a bit of a context to what we're going to discuss in detail real quick. In the past couple of years, we've been working on various customer experience projects using Adobe Marketing Cloud and more specifically Adobe Experience Manager. It was also called CQ5 before that. Around the same period of time, we've been working on multiple SOA middleware integration projects to connect conventional ERPs such as JD Edwards to the new exciting world of smartphone apps, social apps, and cloud-based services. We realized real quick that working on these two apparently different sorts of projects, we were approaching the same middleware technology stack from two opposite directions. Like for example, when we were working on Adobe Experience Manager, we had to integrate back to the ERPs. And while working on the OSGi components that we were developing, we were having to write a lot of orchestration logic where we were knitting together various web services that were exposed by these ERPs in the CRM systems. And we were presenting them to the web and the mobile components accordingly. So here you see a basic architecture diagram for Adobe Experience Manager. So we'll discuss this real quick and then we'll move on to how, what were the challenges that were encompassing that sort of integration between Adobe Marketing Cloud, the backend ERPs, and the front-end customer-centric apps. So first, let's discuss the diagram in front of us, which gives an overview. Adobe Experience Manager runs on top of a Java runtime environment, which in turn hosts the servlet engine on top of an app server. There's a CRX content repository, which is based on Java Content Repository Framework, which is a framework to represent data both in a hierarchical format as well as the relational database. It's a mix of a relational database and a file-based system. So it's in the middle, and more of an in-memory, flexible data architecture, which CRX Content Repository manages. On top of it, you see the Sling Content Delivery Framework and the OSGi framework. The OSGi framework links, fetches the data from the CRX repository and makes it available in the form of components. These components then can be utilized on top of the web portal or on the mobile app. So you can use those OSGi components that wrap around the data coming from the content repository and make them available to different modules or custom application modules that you need to develop for the custom requirements that you might have for a specific implementation. So moving forward, while we were working on the SOA projects that I discussed briefly, like for example, we were working with JD Edwards and we were integrating JD Edwards to a mobile app. So we were having to write loads of web services on top of the built-in business services of JD Edwards. The reason being that conventional ERPs mostly provide SOAP-based heavy web service frameworks, whereas these modern technologies like mobile apps and social networks, etc., they require more nimble web service frameworks using REST APIs and JSON datasets. So here are the common challenges. First of all, being able to mediate all the various web services in different formats while adhering to the security and scalability requirements. The other challenge was heavy data transformation that was required between all these disparate systems and being able to transform that data into the relevant formats. There was a lot of marshalling required of the APIs from the SOAP-based web service frameworks to the REST APIs, which are more nimble and consumable by the mobile and mobile apps and social networks. The fourth challenge that we came across, there was a need for a seamless business process orchestration and human workflow integration across the channels, across the systems, and across the devices. So this was another major challenge. Another challenge that we faced was to monitor in the real time specific contextual data from the business process across the web, social, mobile, e-commerce, CRM, and backend ERPs. So the challenge was to collect the data in the real time while the process is in flight, the campaign is in flight, be able to capture that data and pass it on to a dashboard for reporting and decision making. Lastly, obviously there had to be integration adapters that we had to write for the backend ERPs and the customer experience, customer-centric technologies like mobile apps, social, e-commerce, etc., and also the third-party cloud services. So what options did we have? We had multiple options. We had Oracle, IBM, and there are many others, all the way to various open source stacks that are available. We experimented with most of them, if not all. We realized that the SOA stack, which has a development framework which is common to Adobe Marketing Cloud, which is OSGi, would be best suited as a SOA stack for Adobe Marketing Cloud. We also realized that this middleware has to be lightweight, yet has to be highly secure and scalable. It also needs a big data analytics engine built in. It had to have a business activity monitor to be able to collect the data from the business process and being able to do in-memory analytics on top of it and being able to report it back. It also had a need in some specific implementation scenarios to have a complex event processor built in. Finally, as a lot of tech-savvy marketeers would agree that custom CX needs to be a key component of any SOA stack for multi-channel integration across all the different devices, touch points that you would have. So what exactly did we do? We partnered up with Adobe as Adobe Marketing Cloud Systems Integrator, and here's what we did. So his diagram kind of gives an overview of how this Adobe Marketing Cloud stack is linked with the middleware stack that we finalized upon. So we used an open source, the best open source stack that was available to us, and we built on top of it a platform that can seamlessly link the Adobe Marketing Cloud, more specifically Adobe Experience Manager, with the customer-centric apps as well as the backend ERPs. We also wanted to put together a platform which goes beyond SOA. SOA obviously was the core objective. However, we wanted to go beyond that. So we wanted some inbuilt support for location-based services, augmented reality, and other cool technologies as an inbuilt part of the framework. So this diagram, let's quickly go through this. Here you see the enterprise service bus, which is the core component of any SOA framework. On the right-hand side, you see the business process engine, where you can orchestrate different business processes. You see a human workflow engine and a business rule engine. So using the CX adapters, we connected the Adobe Enterprise Manager modules and custom app modules to behave as and expose them through web services to be able to be consumed by the business process and being orchestrated to be able to use some of these other adapters like the cloud adapters and the ERP adapters to connect to things like Google Maps and Twitter and other third-party services or other cloud-based CRMs, etc. So the idea here is to be able to orchestrate a business process that not only utilizes all your backend systems, but also utilizes all that's available on the cloud as a subscription-based third-party services, and also the customer-centric applications, which include augmented reality apps or a point-of-sale system or mobile app giving the location data of the customer, the contextual data of the customer. On the left-hand side, you see the business activity monitor, which basically serves as a virtual sensor. So it senses the data, captures the data, the right amount of data at the right amount of time in the process, takes it up, passes it on to the big data real-time in-memory analytics. So once that analytics is performed on top of it, you can report that in the form of widgets, either on your corporate portal or also on the mobile apps. Here you see a customer journey mapping. That's a big differentiator that we kind of have built into the platform, where you can do a customer journey mapping and then kind of link that map to a business process that is going to execute that sort of augmented customer journey. On the bottom of the diagram, you see the same Adobe Experience Manager framework that we already discussed. So, as you would have guessed, I'm pretty passionate about how middleware technologies can connect to the marketing clouds, and more specifically to Adobe Marketing Cloud, and how this can be connected to the ERPs and the customer-centric technologies. So I would love to hear your thoughts on your experience in this space, and more specifically, the SOA challenges that you're facing with Adobe Marketing Cloud. Thank you so much for your attention and for your listening and for your time, and looking forward to starting some fruitful discussions around this topic. Take good care and have a great day. Thank you.